Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have a new and exciting cake recipe for you guys, and I want to show you how to make the best berry maple cake. This video is sponsored by Maple from Canada. I'm going to get things started with some delicious maple cake layers, fill the inside with maple berries, and frost the cake with a fluffy maple mascarpone whipped cream frosting. And 100% pure maple syrup from Canada's flavor is unmatched. It is a natural sweetener. It is the perfect alternative to sugar for baking and desserts, and this cake has no sugar, just 100% pure maple syrup. It's going to add so much incredible rich maple flavor to the whole cake. You guys are going to love this dessert for special occasions and holidays. Let's get started. I'm going to show you how to make this incredible cake. And I'm going to get things started with all the wet ingredients in a large mixing bowl. We're going to need 4 large eggs for this recipe. Just crack them in. Next, I'll add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 cup of buttermilk, and 3/4 of a cup of a light cooking oil. Today I'm using canola oil. And now for my maple syrup. Today I'm going to be using 1 cup of 100% pure maple syrup from Canada. And unlike mass-produced syrups, which have a slurry of sugars and artificial flavors and corn syrups, real maple syrup has just 1 ingredient, and that's 100% maple. You guys are going to love the rich maple flavor of the syrup. And I'll add my maple syrup into the wet ingredients. And I'll use my hand mixer to beat all these ingredients together for about 3 minutes until everything is well combined. And now for my dry ingredients, I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. To that I'm going to add in 3/4 cups of fine almond flour. Next I'll add in 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I combine that all together. And I'm going to sift the dry ingredients into my wet ingredients. You want to do this to ensure that you don't get any clumps of flour in your cake batter. And I'll be using my hand mixer again to mix the flour into the cake batter. I'm going to mix it for about a minute, just until everything is incorporated. And for today's cake, I'm using 3 8-inch cake pans. I sprayed down the sides with some baking spray, and I also lined the bottom with parchment paper. I'm going to use a ladle, and I'm going to divide this cake batter evenly between the 3 pans. And my maple cake layers are ready to go into the oven. I've preheated mine to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and they're going to bake for about 23 to 25 minutes until they're completely set on the top and a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. Once these are done baking, I'm going to take them out of the pans and onto a cooling rack to cool completely. Meanwhile, we're going to prepare our maple berry filling and that incredible fluffy and creamy maple mascarpone whipped cream frosting. You guys are going to love the frosting for this cake. And for my maple berry filling, I'm combining some of my favorite berries with maple syrup. So today I have about 2.5 cups of sliced strawberries. To that I'm going to add in about 2 cups of some fresh raspberries, 1 cup of fresh blueberries. And to sweeten my berries, I'm going to be using 1/2 cup of pure maple syrup. And 100% pure maple syrup from Canada is a natural sweetener that's derived directly from maple tree sap. I'm going to pour the syrup over the berries and then toss the berries with a big spoon until they're well coated. And these berries look so incredibly delicious. I can't wait to enjoy them with the cake. And I'm going to set aside this incredible maple berry mixture for now, and I'm going to get started on my maple frosting. So I actually like to make the maple frosting while my cakes are in the oven, and once I have the frosting done, I just let it chill in the refrigerator for about an hour or 2 until my cake layers are completely cooled. So first things first, I have 16 ounces of softened mascarpone cheese. I just let this soften at room temperature for a couple hours. And to my softened cheese, I'm going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract and 3/4 cups of 100% pure maple syrup. And I'm going to mix the maple syrup and the cheese together for a couple minutes until I have a smooth and creamy mixture. Next, I'll pour in 3 cups of chilled heavy cream, and you want to make sure that it's really nice and cold so that it whisks up nicely. And I'm going to start mixing this heavy cream on slow speed first so it doesn't go flying everywhere. And once this frosting starts to thicken up a little bit, I'm going to turn up my speed to high and whisk for another 3 to 4 minutes until stiff peaks form. You guys are going to love the flavor and the texture of this maple frosting. It is so light and fluffy and creamy. It's going to be the perfect complement for our maple berry cake. And now I'm going to place it into the refrigerator until I'm ready to use it. My maple cake layers have cooled completely, and now I'm ready to start assembling this maple berry cake. It's super important that you let the cake layers cool completely. Otherwise, even if they're just a little bit warm, they're going to cause the frosting to melt. So make sure you wait until they're completely chilled. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a long serrated knife and lightly level off the top of the cake, just to make sure it's really nice and level. And we're going to soak the cake layers with a little bit more maple syrup to add even more flavor. I've measured out about 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup, and I'm going to use a pastry brush to lightly and gently soak the cake layers with the maple syrup. It's going to add so much great flavor. I'm going to start by adding a generous amount of the mascarpone whipped cream onto each cake layer. I'm going to use an offset spatula to spread that cream evenly to the edges. I've transferred some of my frosting into a pastry bag, and today I'm using a French star tip, but really you can use any type of large pastry tip, and I'm going to create a little barrier ring of frosting around the edges of the cake, and this will keep all the berries on the inside. I'm going to add in a generous amount of the berries into the center. And then I like to just gently press them into place. And now I'm ready to frost the top and sides of the cake with the whipped cream frosting. And today I'm going for more of like a naked cake type of look, so I won't apply a second layer of frosting. Just gonna use my offset spatula to spread the frosting evenly. And once I have the cake frosted, and before I add any garnishes to the top, I'm actually going to place the cake into the refrigerator and let it chill in the fridge for at least 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll come back to add those garnishes on the top. And for garnishing my cake, I transferred the rest of my whipped cream frosting into a pastry bag, and today I'm using French star tip number 4. I'm going to add generous dollops of this cream on top. It's going to help keep that berry filling on the inside. And I'll garnish the edges with some fresh strawberries. And we can add the rest of our maple berries into the center. And check out all those incredible berries on the top. They're going to taste so delicious with this maple cake. And now let's cut into this stunning cake to see what it looks like on the inside. I'm going to use a sharp serrated knife. Just kind of move the berries out of my way on the top here. Can't wait to enjoy this cake. All right, let's see what it looks like on the inside. Just wow, check out all those berries on the inside and those maple cake layers with the whipped cream frosting. This is going to be so incredibly delicious. And how stunning is this maple berry cake? I absolutely love how it turned out with all those berries on the top and on the inside. Can't wait to dig in and enjoy this incredible cake. Thank you so much to Maple from Canada for sponsoring this video recipe. Don't forget to head on down the video description box. I'll have a link that'll take you over to my website where you can find the full recipe and you can learn more about this incredible brand. Now time to enjoy this cake, and it just looks so pretty with the maple frosting and all those berries on the inside. All right. This frosting is just so light and fluffy too. That is so incredibly delicious. Just wow. You guys are gonna be blown away with the flavors. This berry cake recipe is definitely one of my all-time favorites. It is so incredibly delicious. You guys are going to love the rich maple flavor from that maple whipped cream frosting to the maple cake layers to the maple berries. So much incredible flavor going on here, and the textures are just amazing. That light and fluffy mascarpone whipped cream goes so well with the delicate almond cake layers. You guys are going to love the almond flour in the cake. It just makes the cake batter lighter and fluffier, and the cake layers themselves are just so light and delicate, perfectly complemented by that frosting, and I love those maple berries too. So much flavor going on here. This is the perfect cake if you have a special occasion coming up or a holiday such as Valentine's Day. This is the cake for you. I guarantee you it's gonna be a huge hit. Thank you guys so much for watching this video recipe. I hope you enjoyed this stunning berry cake at home, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.